Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. I hope you guys all had a great weekend and hope you're ready to get back into the market and have a look at some of these setups. And we've definitely got some good ones in the works. Quick little look at today. It was just a totally flat day. The markets did not go really anywhere. They just kind of have set and set and set. You can see that the Dow closed just a little bit negative, S&P just a little bit negative, basically flat all the way across the board. And we'll see if that continues on. We haven't had any really major news today. We did have the Italian 10-year bond auction, which went decently well. We don't really have anything else coming out the rest of the day or in the UK session tomorrow, but tomorrow morning we do have consumer confidence out of the US, which is a bit of a mover, and we have the GDP out of Canada, which is a bit of a mover as well. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on that and see how those markets go there. So the setups that I'm basically looking for here are I'm watching this euro dollar, and it can really at this point go a little bit of either way. We had this big nice run up, a big spike on Bernanke news, consolidation, another big spike, which was all the way retraced before the market closed, and then at the open of the market, things just kind of trickled down into the low of Friday. So remember, Friday highs and lows are always important. The highs are definitely a little ways away. They're way up here at 23, almost 2400. But the lows, the market is just the euro has just been sitting on this Friday lows. Tried to make a little break, pushed it a little bit, but really just kind of ended up confirming a little bit more of this trend line right here. So you can see this trend line where the market's tested, and then it's just kind of been crawling up this level right here. And so now, as things are running in this general area, I think we've got a good chance that the pivots are just starting to come out, as of just a couple of minutes ago. But the level that I'm looking for here is about 2260. If we can get some opens on the 1 hour chart above 2260, 60, 61, 62, right in that area, we should be able to make a run for it, but before that, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Now that we're just below the daily pivot's actually going to move things into about 2265, which at preparation here, we didn't have the daily pivot out yet. And so just kind of keep an eye on that level. And in fact, let's update that to 2265. That's going to be the important thing to watch for. I never like to get in before those daily pivots. Things can get a little bit tricky. So 2265 should be a nice little entry to get long on this euro dollar and take it up into some of these previous levels, 2315, definitely 2300 and 2315 in extension. So I'll be looking for those. Otherwise, we may actually end up with a little bit of a breakout of this. If we draw a trend line just on the 5-minute chart by itself, you can see a little bit of a better picture here that the market's been running up this trend line. Looks a little bit kind of overrun here on the 1 hour chart, but it's kind of been running up that. And if we do get a break of that trend line of this guy right here, this pair could be headed down. But I don't like any entries on this until we get a 1 hour candle opening below 122.45. I want to see a 1 hour open below 122.45 or a 1 hour open above 122.65. So just kind of keep these channels. We have a really tight 20 pip channel, so it'll break out much sooner than later. Just be ready for that. But that's going to be the thing that I'll be watching for and looking for and kind of waiting for those movements from there. So keep an eye on that. And really, I think we should have a fairly easy, probably 35 to 50 pip run on either side of those breakouts. So just keep an eye out for that. Pound dollar is kind of doing the same thing. It's channeling here. I like this 157.25. That's been a good solid daily pivot from yesterday. Our highs are really, the other level to kind of really worry about is 157.45, where the market has tried to close above a few times and has been unable to. And so we're going to be looking for that. But really, I think an entry will be merited right around this 157.25 and open above. Otherwise, if this starts to head back down, we do have some short-term kind of trend lines in the works. It's pretty choppy and kind of pretty ugly looking, really, when you get right down to it. But we do kind of have those trend lines in there, so just keep an eye on that. But really, the level that I would be looking for is about is kind of this area, this 156.70. This is about 156.70 area, and if we get an open below this, I think this could be a nice rundown as well. So it's not a huge channel, but it definitely is 55, 60 pips, and the market's going to be just bouncing around in here and causing trouble. So an open above this 157.25 or 156.70, either direction ought to be worth keeping an eye on. So we'll watch that. Euro yen has gotten very choppy as well. Did the exact same thing as the euro dollar, which came down to this Friday low right here and just consolidated and bounced and didn't actually give us a break. So if we get an open below this 95.70, 95.70 on the 1 hour chart, an open below that, I'm going to look to take it down into this main support here, which is about 95.15.20. So we got about 40 to 50 pips of run potential down into that 95.15.20 area. Otherwise, we have kind of the same thing where you can see that these trend lines were just really tested but never really broken. And so if we can get above this 95 kind of 90 area here, that would be good. But again, now we have this daily pivot, which makes it probably an even 9600, and that puts us right back to this level, which was not so long ago. And so that's going to be worth keeping an eye on for sure. So look at that 9600 and open above that, and a continuation up into some of these pivot ranges. Our first pivot here is about 9650, and then beyond we have another one way up above 9700. So again, just look for 40, 50 pip run above 9600. We should be able to get a nice run there, or an open below 95.70 on this 1 hour chart. So that's going to be really, really good to keep a close eye on. Aussie dollars just kind of holding strong, not too interested in that. And gold is kind of starting to top out here a little bit. Remember that our major, super important resistance on gold is going to be really right around this area here, which is just about 1630. It's tested that a few times, been unable to break. So 1630 is going to be our big, important, super important level to watch for, and we're going to keep an eye on that. So if we get a break of 1630, then everything should be headed up nicely. Otherwise, we may see some smaller runs, down, and some attempts at those lower levels. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we'll have some trades posted in the chat and some other details as they set up, and so we'll just kind of wait for that and be ready for it. But best of luck, guys, and I will see you in the chat.